Okay, so today we're going to be talking about alignment. So I'm going to draw two shapes. I will just make them both rectangles of some sort. These have rounded corners, but there's three of them. That actually works out. So we're going to open up the fill and stroke menu, which is not actually needed for this, but it'll make it a little bit easier to see. I just selected all of them by clicking and dragging. I'm going to give them all a fill, and I'm going to get rid of the stroke, because often when I'm trying to get things exactly positioned, I actually don't want the stroke to be taken into account at all. I just want right to that center line. So we've got three objects, and there are a few different ways we can align them. One, and this is probably the most common, is with this align and distribute item under object. When I click on that, it opens it up on the right hand side. Now I recommend starting with this relative to box saying last selected. That tells you which object is going to be moved and which object is going to stay stationary. So it's going to move everything relative to the last one that you select. So let's say I select the smaller box, hold shift, and select the other one. I can use these, center on the vertical axis, and you see how it centers them vertically. And now I'll center them on the horizontal axis, and now they're perfectly aligned right at the center. Now you'll notice that I moved the small box to the big box. And the reason this matters is, let's say now I want to move this small piece. I'll grab the big one, hold shift, get the small one, and because I selected the small one first, it's actually going to move everything over to the small one. And now this medium-sized box is kind of left behind. So it really matters which order you select them in. Of course, you can always click Control-Z to undo it, and then you're back to where you started. So there are a bunch of different options here. I could actually grab all of them, and I could align them all to the left, or align them all to the right, or top. Sorry, that's bottom, or top. So there are a bunch of different options here. You can scroll over them to see what they do, or just try a few, click on Control-Z, and go back so that you can try a different one if the way you did it didn't work out. So the other option are these snaps. And some of these, sometimes this shows up on this top bar right here. What I can do is I'm going to snap to bounding boxes. So when I grab something like this dashed line is the bounding box. So I can have it snap to the edges of bounding boxes. And watch what happens when I do that. Suddenly when I get close, it'll actually snap in places. So right now it's snapping to corners. And sometimes these act funny. So I will sometimes turn them all off and turn them all back on so they actually snap appropriately. So now it's snapping to the sides, which is what it should have done when I first selected it. Now at first you're actually going to have trouble with this because it means that you're going to end up snapping to things when you really didn't want to snap to things. So sometimes you just want to turn these all the way off, especially if you're trying to get something that looks organic. One that I find particularly useful is snapping to the midpoints of bounding boxes, because now I can put this one right in the middle of this other one. I can put this right in the middle of the other one, and then I don't have to use center on horizontal axis in the align and distribute menu. I just snap them all into place. So it's a lot easier to work with. One of the downsides of this is that you'll often have extra things snapping, and you will find that you're snapping to the wrong thing, thinking that you're snapping to the right thing. So you may have to be careful. Notice that when I snap, it actually gives me some sort of text telling me exactly what I'm snapping to. So bounding box corners to bounding box corner, bounding box side midpoint to bounding box side midpoint. So these sorts of things matter. You may want to take a look at them. That's it. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.